Laugh out loud, it's the place to be, where geeky minds meet so naturally. From pixel legends to blockbuster heart, dive right in, let's set this vibe apart.
So
You know,
that's
crazy. It's crazy that the Apple TV has Snoopy cartoons, and you can go on Apple TV's subscription service and you can watch the Peanuts. But Peanuts just got bought by Sony.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, hey everybody.
I mean, yeah. So today is maybe a special day somewhere. We don't know where. We
We
don't
might
know
be
why.
recording this on the most important day of the year for some people, like myself. It's babies. And maybe last week might have been someone else's important day. Maybe.
Today Ben turns 5, which makes him the senior of the BM show because I'm still at 2. So congratulations, Ben.
Yes, my voice dropped when I was very, 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 very young, apparently.
So that just made me think of this one time I was having dinner at Chili's with my buddies, and somebody was celebrating their birthday. So we decided to go over and say happy birthday to them because, they were making a whole big commotion and they're kind of all drunk and everything like that. And, my buddy and I, we asked whose birthday it was, and they pointed to the guy and were like, oh, yeah, happy birthday. And all of a sudden, the lady next to us turns to us and goes, yeah, he found a hair today. And it took me a second. I'm like, oh, that's rough. That's really rough right there.
Found on hair tonight?
Yes.
I don't get it.
Think of places where hair can grow.
Oh, so is he like a kid?
He's becoming a man.
Okay. All right, whatever. All right, let's move on.
So there you go. If you understand it, please leave a comment and explain to Ben what that person meant by that.
That's what I know. I know what they meant. Okay, that's what I thought it was, but I'm like, what? Huh? Okay, what?
So we do have some exciting news today because lately, for some reason, when I did that video about the handhelds, and you sent me the song, Ben, and it got stuck in my head. Except for I started singing out loud, except for the first part, I kind of didn't accurately hit the words, and it came out the GM show. So I just wanted to thank Ben for his time on the show. I think you did a wonderful job. And please, everybody, look forward to Gary joining us next week.
Oh, Gary. Are you gonna get Dr. Gary?
No, I'm actually going to get Gary from the ref.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there. That'll work out pretty good. But you did a great job, Ben. I don't know why I said the GM show, like GM Motors or something. I don't know.
No, probably GM Motors. Yeah,
Yeah.
You know what's weird? They put that GM had like a badge that they put on like all their cars. I don't know why do they even have brands? Why don't they just call everything GM?
Yeah.
It's like, could they even have GMC, which is like another one of their brands? And it's like, the GMC stands for General Motor Corporation, where GM also stands for General Motors, and it's like, I have a Pontiac. This is my first time I've ever owned a GM car, and the thing I've noticed is they have their badge that just says GM on a lot of their stuff, and I'm like, I know their stuff's interchangeable. I've known gearheads my whole life, so like I know a little bit about this stuff, and I know that it's like they said that I've always been told that the nice thing about GM is like GM's kind of like their own universe when it comes to parts, but all the parts are interchangeable among themselves. So I've always
I think I know the reason to this. And I can explain the reason with a story of one of my buddies. Dealing with something different than GM cars, but it's probably the same thing. He ordered a device called the Retroid Pocket 5, which is a handheld device. And when he got it in the mail, he paid, whatever the full price was for it. A week later, it goes on sale. And he complains to them. And I may have told you this. He complains to them and says, give me my $20 because you put it on sale the week after I bought it. And of course, they send a message back, sorry, the sale just started this time. And he goes, and he sent a message back to them. He goes, okay, fine. I'm never going to buy anything from you again. I'm going to go over and I'm buying an Iron Odin next time rather than deal with you guys ever again. Well, here's the thing. If you look up both Iron and Retroid, it seems to be that both those companies are under the same parent company. So basically what he says, I'm never going to buy from you again. I'm going to go and buy from you again. So there you go. There's a reason why right there. People don't like GM, one brand of the cars. They go, this sucks. I'm going to go buy this one. And then they're like, oh, well, I'm sorry to hear you had that. And in the back room, they're just dying laughing at you.
I'm never buying another Chevy again. I'm only going to buy a GMC from now on.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of it also has to do with like the fact that these are a lot of brands and they used to be independent and they got bought up and then they don't want to get rid of the name. But then you got like I have a Pontiac, and Pontiac, they ended up deleting the Pontiac brand. But the Pontiac brand was never an independent company. It was created because Chevy had people had a certain thought in their head when they thought about Chevy, and people had a certain thought in their head when they thought about Buick, and they like all these different brands, because that's really what it's about. All these different brands, people have associations with them, and they wanted to have a sports brand to compete with Ford, who was doing all these cars under one brand.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, why do you need 20 different brands of everything? It's like, just put it all under one label and you just have different like lines. Which you do different lines under your different brands anyways. Like my car is a Pontiac Torrent. It's the same thing as a Chevy Equinox, which is the same thing as a GMC something or other. I forget what the name of it is in their GMC, but it's all the same car is the point.
Yeah.
Only difference is the Pontiac one is tuned slightly different to be more performance. Well, whatever. It's got a different badge on it. Mine says, I have that cool Pontiac upside down triangle doohickey thingy. That's actually kind of cool. But
so Ben, you bought a Pontiac, and then you also bought something else just recently that we're talking about.
Oh yes. So being what today is, for myself, I bought myself something for today. I finally broke down and bought a Switch 2 Pro 2 controller. I've been using the Pro 1 controller this entire time, but I felt like a heathen because I had to go and get up and walk over to my system and turn my system on manually instead of being able to wake it up with the controller, because Nintendo only allows that feature on the Pro 2 controller and on the Pro 2 or on the Joy-Con 2s. You can't use any other controller, third party, first party, whatever, to do the wake up feature.
So you're paying to be lazy.
I'm paying for the ability to not have to get up and go turn the system on. Yes, if you want to see that, the lazy tax. It also adds on 2 extra buttons that are programmable buttons. So they're making the Switch 2 Pro controller is a more akin to a Xbox Pro controller in that respect. It doesn't have the ability to go and move the buttons around yet, which that would have been cool too, because that's one of the things you could do on the Xbox One. You could change what kind of joystick you're using and all that. But still, it's nice to have a little bit more of a feature on there. I bought an Xbox Pro controller. They're $150. I kept the thing for like 2 minutes. I tried it and I'm like, it's okay. It doesn't help me any more than a normal controller does. It feels a little nicer, but I'm like, for the price difference, no.
Like, what's a non-pro controller cost on Xbox?
At the time they were like 50, 60. I think they're up to 80 now. I know it was $90 for the Nintendo one that I bought.
Wow.
Nintendo's been bilking people lately. They're running on a high. As we covered before, they're the last remaining game company for hardware.
And Switch isn't doing too well.
But the thing is like it's not doing well, and if you look at it as it's not breaking records, but it doesn't mean people aren't buying it.
Yeah, but
It is selling. It's selling well compared to other systems. It's just not selling well compared to the Switch One, which is
yeah,
you got to look at it through. If you're looking at it through a different lens, like Christmas morning, my cousin got his kid Switch 2 games. So naturally, the question I asked is like, "Oh, he bought a Switch 2." He said, "Yep, he got it as soon as the thing came out." And then my aunt told me like, she was out in Arizona with my other cousin's kids, and she bought them a Switch 1, and the kids told her she needs to bring it back. They only wanted a Switch 2. So it's not like the consumer base is confused. They get it. PlayStation taught them. Whenever there's a new system with a number behind it, it's the next one up. They learned on PlayStation that the 2 is better than the 3, and the 2 is better than the 2 is better than the 1, and the 3 is better than the 2. They learned that. So that's good. And then so is the system doing bad? It's not dying. It's just not breaking any records.
yeah.
It's not
Hey,
it's not blowing things out of the water like the last one did. And because of that, yes, you can say the system is not as successful as we wish it would be, but I don't think the system's failing, no.
I'm just thinking how much of the Switch One fan base or community or whatever you want to call it is just looking at the Switch 2 and just simply saying no.
But the thing is, it's kind of a no-brainer upgrade. The only thing that would stop you, I think, would be the price, because all your Switch 1 stuff carries over, like everything. I think there's like 2 games that are not compatible or something like that. Unless you're really into the Labos thing. That the Labo is not compatible. And there's a few other things that are not compatible, but the few things are just that, a few things. Very, very few things. 90-something% of it, all compatible. So it's like, if you could afford the $500 or $450 and just get the base unit, you can trade your Switch. You'll get money for it.
It's
And that's
never
what a lot of people are doing. They're just trading them in, and the Switch ones are still selling. People still want them. There's people who never got a Switch one because the $300 price tag was too much. But now they can get a used one. Somebody will want a Switch 2, trade it in their used one. They can get that for 200 or less or whatever they go for. I don't even know. It's like, but I'm sure it's going to be less money, and I'm sure that it's a thing. Everybody's getting. There's people who haven't got the first one yet, and they're getting the first one now because the people who have the first one are getting the second one.
or they're trying to sell out of the stock of the first one. Because as long as you have that stock of the first one, then you're giving the people the option to buy the first one over the second one.
Yeah, I'm sure Nintendo would love it if the first one became an only used system, because there's some people, they had bad experience with a used system at one point, and used just has a bad taste in their mouth, and they'll never buy one.
Mm-hmm.
Or parents who don't know, so they don't want, and they don't know, but they know enough that if I don't know, I shouldn't deal with it, and I don't know anything about used systems, so I'm not even going to touch it for my kid. I'm sure there's some of that going around. But most of the time, I don't think there's anybody who wouldn't mind, like, oh, you want my 5-year-old? You would care if I buy him a used Switch? He ain't gonna give a crap. You got the box, so at least to make it look new to him. You bet.
Mommy, this box has a hole in it, but that's a new hole, Junior.
This box is insane. Nintendo Switch on it. It says Reeboks. Put it in a shoe.
It says Nintendo.
This is Nike. Why does the box say Nike? And why does it smell like a shoe store? So that's what I did. I bought it I only played a little bit with it today because I just got it today, but yep.
So here's something that happened with me is that I don't like collections, like buying games that are collections of other games, because most of the time, like, oh, I bought these when they were singles. So I don't really need to buy the whole collection again and pay more money. But I did recently for a few things, because I got it pretty cheap. One of them was one that I really did want to get, which was the Capcom Fighting Collection 2, because it finally the PlayStation version of Street Fighter Alpha 3 Max was finally let out of jail in this collection. So it actually does have all the characters in it. So I decided to pick that up, and I found for like $6 more, I could get the Capcom Fighting Collection 1, which I figured $6, if I could just put even like an hour into it on something like Red Earth or something, which I'm not a big fan of, but I could probably put an hour into that and I'll get my money's worth. Well, we all know my favorite fighting game is Street Fighter Alpha 3. But that came under threat off of the game in the collection that I've known about for 20 years or so. Or I guess maybe, I don't know, I guess it's about 20 years old now, maybe less, who knows. And I've fiddled with, but it's one of those I play for a round, I'm like, okay, I'm cool, I experienced this. Well, I finally sat down and actually played it. And I was so like absolutely blown away with it because it's a fighting game, but it's still different in the way that it works. And it's less and I'm going to say this, I don't care. It's less arc systems. I don't need a brain. I just need to push buttons to do combos type of a situation. But there's a lot more thinking to it and strategizing and being in the right place at the right time and so forth. And I just absolutely, when I realized that, I just absolutely like fell in love with this game. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called Cyberbots.
No.
No. Okay. Yeah, I didn't. It's pretty low key, but it is a Capcom game. It is on the Fighting Collection, which I believe that you do have, Ben.
I have one of them. Yeah, I also got like the Capcom arcade collections too.
Yeah, I saw, and I think it's probably in the arcade collection as well too. Let's see here. Ben does not have Fighting Collection. Ben probably has Fighting Collection 2. Steam doesn't want to tell me if you have it or not. But I'm sure it's in the arcade. So I'd say check it out because it's a different experience, but it's still very much one on fighter. And I'm sure you're familiar with Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Is that the one that was on Dreamcast?
Yes.
Yeah. That was supposed to be like a legendary fighting game.
Dude, that game's fantastic. The character Jin, which you'll probably recognize if you see him, actually comes from Cyberbot. But
Isn't that the one like not Cyberbot, but the Marvel vs. Capcom too? Wasn't that the one like it was really expensive at one point?
probably. Yeah, a lot of those games are getting really expensive.
Yeah. Well, people are like getting back into collecting physical media after they got rid of all their stuff.
Yeah.
So, that's what I know from experience. All right.
There we go. So we're going to get into our main topic here in a minute, but we do have something special. You speak, we regurgitate. So I wanted to bring out a comment. I'm not going to put it on screen, but you may be able to find it if you go digging. This was on our Dangerous Liaisons review. And this comes from Missile Leia to, protect the name. It's not exactly that name, but yeah, it's Missile Leia. And Missile Leia said, lazy ass critique. I'd like to respond to that. Ben, can I respond?
Sure.
Thanks. I'd say more, but I don't really want to.
Thanks for the comment.
Yeah.
Because, comments, that helps. Comments do more than hitting the like button.
Ben, you're saying too much. Be a little bit more lazy, please.
Oh, thanks, bro.
There we go. So there you go.
Comment is like higher than thumbs, man. So thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
That's probably the laziest way I could say everything I was trying to say.
Wait. I got it. Let's do this again. Okay, rewind. Everyone ignore what you just heard. I'm going to redo this. So Miss Alea said, lazy ass critique. Ben, can I respond?
Sure.
Okay.
Word.
You're going to do like the most insulting annoying text, any message anyone could get.
So for the rest of the podcast, you guys at home, you entertain yourself for like the next hour, and we'll just like stay on here, but keep it playing so like we get the play credit and all that, like and stuff. Because we're gonna just lazy ass critique our way through the.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So it's time to get into our main topic. Man, I have been waiting to do this one. I have been excited to do this one.
We were supposed to do this last week, and then you had some stuff come up, and then so we canceled, and then your stuff became uncancelable. But at that point, I was already like, I don't feel like doing it this week.
Yeah, it was basically what's going on with my father-in-law.
Yeah.
He's back going through his very last treatment this time. And then we're just gonna see how it goes after this. But Maria needed some help getting everything to the hotel and getting everything set up. So that's where I thought that I wasn't going to make it. But she usually goes to bed at 5. So I kind of realized I was back early. I'm like, hey Ben, if you haven't watched the movie, or if you watched the movies already, and then it's just like, you know what? You're like, let's take a vacation week. Okay, we deserve it.
Yeah. I'm like, also like, I haven't watched the movies by then, and now I've seen all the movies. I am ready to go with this. So are we ready to go with this?
We are ready to go with this. Today, our topic is Hell Hath No Fury, Women That Slay movie reviews. This is about women not being lazy like we were.
Yes, they didn't do lazy ass critiques of a movie that hardly anybody knew about.
Yeah, this is going to be them beating up everyone in sight. And
the guy who left that review, first of all, if you told him that Dangerous Liaisons was a version of Cruel Intentions, he probably would take your head off. I'm assuming from that. He probably takes that. It's like, no, Cruel Intentions was a copy of the other. It's the other way around. The other way around. I got
who cares? It is what it is.
It is what it is.
So here, I'm going to go over the movies that we will be reviewing, and I actually kind of put them in this order for a reason, because I always like to start with the one that brought this idea out. However, it gets a little bit convoluted on this one. So what I did was I put the one that really brought this to be this topic, followed by the one that kind of cemented that in. But we're going to end on the one that it all started with. So this actually broke off an idea that I had that may be still possible, was to watch live action versions of anime movies, which technically the last one is, it's not really a movie, but it's a big manga series. And when I was going through the movies that you have a list of, Ben, I saw this other one, and I'm like, man, I have not seen that movie in a long time. And then I thought about Ghost in the Shell live action movie, which just happens to have the same actress in it. And then I thought, well, I want to pick one of those. And I just want to do like all these movies where it's the woman is kind of the main star and it's an action oriented film. And then the second
woman oriented movie, the woman is the star, does not mean that we're going to be talking about them, talking about their feelings or.
No, they're going to be talking about how the other person is feeling on the other side of their fist.
Yes, this isn't going to be like Little Women or Anne of Green Gables.
No, this is going to be women that are just destroying everything in their sight.
Yes.
Be it with guns, with fists, with swords, with plasma beams, with whatever. They're doing damage.
Yep.
So here are the movies we will be talking about tonight. In this order, we will start with Lucy, followed by Atomic Blonde, Aliens, Columbiana, Kill Bill, both volumes included, and finishing with Alita, Battle Angel, or if you're the manga fan, Battle Angel Alita, or if you're in Japan, I believe it's Gun. So those are the movies that we are talking about tonight. I am ready to roll. Ben, are you about ready to roll?
Yeah, I'm actually just looking at the script right now. So
Okay, let me go ahead and share the screen with the first one. It should be up now.
Lucy is a 2014 science fiction action film written and directed by Luc Besson. The film stars Scarlett Johansson as Lucy, a woman who accidentally gains superhuman abilities after a synthetic drug is absorbed into her bloodstream. As her cognitive as her cognitive capacity expands beyond normal human limits, she develops extraordinary physical and mental powers. Morgan Freeman co-stars as a neuroscientist who studies the theatrical. Wow, it is theatrical. Theoretical limits of theoretical limits of the human brain. The film explores themes of human potential, evolution, and control, blending high concept science fiction with action elements. So who's first?
I'm going first on this one. Okay, so something interesting here is like I've mentioned before is that whenever we do these type of movie reviews, since I grew up in a movie family, I always tell my dad, I'm like, hey, this is the ones that we're reviewing this time around. And my dad, when I mentioned Lucy, my dad's like, oh yeah, that's a great movie. And my thought was kind of, oh, I don't know if we're talking about the same Lucy here. I don't think this is, now when I say that, I don't think this is a bad movie. I just, there's something that I really wish they would have done this movie that would have made it infinitely better. I loved how this movie started. I loved the whole situation that she got herself into. It absolutely has like just a whole bunch of tension with what's going on with this guy she's with him dying, with them putting the stuff in her body, all the other people that I got stuck with. I mean, there's just like this massive amount of tension that it starts with. And I don't really like how they decided to get it to leak, but I know they had to do something like that to progress the story. After that, when her intellect starts ramping up, the first part of it is actually really good. When she starts beating down the guys, when she gets I can't think of the word to say, but when she's on the screen for Morgan Freeman's character, when she cracks into the TV, all that stuff is just really good. And then you get to the higher end of it, and I feel like they just like pushed it through as fast as possible. And you don't get to see a big development when she gets, I think it's above like what, 75 or whatnot. It's just her making herself into that big computer and everything. It kind of becomes a letdown because this feels like it's going to go in the direction of what I would consider like an X-Men movie, where she is like the whole X-Men team at that point. But then it deviates and it doesn't. And I think it deviates in a way that it's kind of anticlimactic. It's just like, okay, well, let's just put a quick solution to how we're going to get rid of her and have her pass this information on. And I don't think it worked. So everything else before that was really good. So as far as it stands, this is a tough one. This is really a tough one to judge. I'm kind of leaning more towards a thumbs down on this one. I just wish it had. I like story. I like intellectual story. I just wish this one had a little bit more action because it teased it towards the beginning with her, but then it just dropped that portion off towards the end.
I remember when this movie was coming out and they were promoting it as like, imagine if you had the ability to use 100%. You know, like talking about like the human brain, they were playing the part with Morgan Freeman talking about the 10% of the brain and whatever.
Yeah.
And I actually really wanted to see this movie when they were promoting it, and then just because I don't go to the movies too often, I just never got around to it. And then we had to watch it, and then we were watching it for this, and that's when I remembered seeing the previews and remembering I wanted to watch it. And I actually did enjoy the movie. I got a little confused on the limits of her powers, but they kind of showed that mostly. I like to know what the hell happened in the airplane. There's that scene in the airplane where she's kind of like decomposing, it looks
Yeah.
like, and
Yeah.
she goes to
It's
the room, and all of a sudden, like, she blacks out or whatever, and she wakes up in a hospital bed. And I'm like, "What how did who huh? What? How did this happen?" Did she pass out and they found her, like, passed out in the bathroom, and maybe she was, like, imagining that she was starting to disappear or something? Maybe it was all in her head, or did she really disappear and decompose and then recompose on the floor asleep? I would have, or did she send herself to the hospital bed and they're just like, "Oh, there's a patient here. We don't know how the hell they got here." Like, and there's not even a throwaway line of how she got there. That she's there. Then they know that she's there, but I don't know. That was my only real problem with the movie. Other than that, I thought the movie was for what it was. I mean, there's some stuff you're just never gonna get fully explained to you because none of it's science fiction.
yeah,
And
true.
I thought it was a fun film, so I gave it a thumbs up.
Mm. I think it sounds like in a way, it sounds like you both wanted to see more of her at 100%. Though.
Well, that too. It's like, what is that gonna? I mean, but then at 100%, she turned into the lawnmower man.
Yeah.
This what this movie kind of reminded me of. It's like she's become the lawnmower man. She's in the computer systems, and soon she's like, we'll just leave her body, and she'll be computer like in the computer, which is what happened in Lawnmower Man. So this is almost like a better version of Lawnmower Man.
I'll give you that.
But he might be better a version of Lawnmower Man.
I didn't even think of Lawnmower Man when watching this at all, but I'll definitely give you that because yeah, Lawnmower Man is not very good.
Like Lawnmower Man has a great premise. That's it. That's all it had. It's just premise.
Yeah.
This at least takes the premise. It's the same premise, kind of the same premise. I see what you mean. Like how she got kicked in the stomach to let the drugs out.
Yeah.
They could have done something where she got hit by a car. So I can see like maybe they shouldn't have had it where a man was beating her up.
I mean, it could have even been something as simple as they were hurrying to get it in and they didn't realize there was a hole in it, or somebody accidentally slit it when they're trying to open her up and put it in. They actually got the scalpel or whatever on it. Because that whole I don't know, that whole situation where she was in the room with the guys, and it just seemed like they're trying to put it into a way to make her the action star, like set her as the action star in that scene.
Hey, at least none of them were named Buck, and they weren't there to fuck.
Well, one of them kind of was, but his name wasn't Buck.
His name was not Buck.
So, as far as we know, it wasn't Buck. So,
there was something else that came to mind that was like a little off on it. I can't remember right now. But that's what it is. It's just there's minor things that I found wrong with the movie, and most of it was just stuff that they were kind of like, it's happening because of Twilight Zone.
Mhm.
It's just happening because it's happening, and you just gotta just stop asking questions. Just go for the ride. But no, don't worry about it. Just go for the ride.
I mean, I wouldn't, even if I'm saying it's a thumbs down, it's not really a big thumbs down for me. I'd still say, if you get an opportunity, go see it.
Yeah. Also, like if you were like me, where you love the idea of what the Lawnmower Man could have been,
Yeah.
I know I keep harping on those, like, but it did remind me of the Lawnmower Man, especially the ending.
Yeah.
She's in the computer systems now, just like Joe in the Lawnmower Man.
I guess if you go into this, expect to see her in the action part towards I don't actually, not the beginning, towards about the middle. and then have that just kind of drop off and feel like everything at that point just gets rushed.
Yeah.
So maybe this would have been a movie that could have benefited from another 15, 20 minutes in it. So it doesn't feel like they're rushing through that very last part.
Was this one of the shorter ones?
Which ones?
I mean, I know most of them were 2 hours, but there were a couple that were like 90 minutes.
Yeah, this one I think was 90 minutes.
Okay. All right. Are we ready to go?
Anything else for this one?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. And the next one is up now.
Atomic Blonde is a 2017 action thriller film directed by David Leitch, based on the graphic novel The Coldest City. The film stars Charlize Theron as Lorraine Broughton, an MI6 spy sent to Berlin during the final days of the Cold War to retrieve a list of double agents. Known for its stylized violence, neon-soaked visuals, and long-take fight sequences, the film emphasizes espionage, deception, and shifting alliances against the backdrop of a collapsing political order. This one, interesting enough, I watched this one last. I watched it yesterday, and it was on HBO today. So I didn't like hate it, but there were times when I think it's because everybody talked with a freaking accent. I was just like, it was having trouble like fully getting into it. I did like as the movie progressed, I got more into it, but it took me a while to fully get into it. I like the twist ending when you find out. I don't even know if I want to say what the twist ending was, or you find out her actual nationality, but it's set in Berlin when when the wall's about to fall, and it's like days before it happens, and that kind of happens in the background because the movie's not about that, and it happens to be happening, and she happens to be in the city where it is happening, and yeah, I like if I gave this a thumbs up, it would be barely. Like I said, I had a lot of trouble getting into the film. So I'm gonna give it strictly a thumbs up.
So for me, here's my situation. I saw this first in the theater, and I was going to go see this with Maria. However, something came up, and she couldn't make it. So I ended up actually contacting Alan, who went with me. So at the time I watched it, I enjoyed the movie, but that's maybe because I bought 2 tickets. And you know what the cost of tickets are to go see a movie nowadays.
Yeah.
Watching it again, I want to call this the over movie. Okay. And what I mean by the over movie is that I feel that it's 3 things. It's over stylized, over convoluted, and over choreographed.
Yeah.
One thing that really, really drove me up a wall in the way is it felt like they were just like, okay, we're making a music video, right? Oh, we're going to put movie elements in our music video. I mean, it really pushed the music in the movie.
The one thing I will say is I really like the soundtrack.
I don't know.
You got this 80s and 90s, early 90s, late 80s. It's got the vibe.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's like I could just listen to the music.
Yeah, it's just pumped in your face. Like it seems like half the movie is just music. And then there's I think it was the elevator and the stairwell fight. If I remember, there wasn't any music at that point. And it just felt empty because you're used to this whole music just pumping in your face through everything. And I think for what it was, this movie is the opposite of Lucy. This movie could have been cut down because I think it's trying to make itself more complicated than it is. Now, I don't know the source material. So the source material may do better descriptions. It may give better reasons. It may flesh out things a little bit better, or it might have been a lot of stuff added to this movie just to make it something that it's not wanting to be so straightforward, but in a way it becomes straightforward by not being straightforward. So the second time around, I didn't like this as much. And I think I'm in the same boat you are, where it's like, the same thing with Lucy. What do I want to do with this movie? What do I want to give this? And I'm leaning more towards the thumbs down as well. It's a mild thumbs down, maybe a little bit more harsher than Lucy was. Because I'd probably say with Lucy, if you have the opportunity, go ahead and watch it. With Atomic Blonde, if you have the opportunity and you have the time and you have nothing else to do, like really nothing else to do, then you can give it a try. But I just don't think this movie hit me like it should. It felt like it was just dragging. The other thing I want to point out is I got a little confused through it. I thought that the whole time that she was actually the dude from Spinal Tap. I thought this was Spinal Tap too.
Yeah. I do say though, like, if you saw the Atomic Blonde soundtrack for sale somewhere, you might want to think about picking that up. But
yeah, I can see this one as being one of those where you pick up the soundtrack, but you maybe don't pick up the DVD.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Are we ready for the next movie?
we are ready for the next one. Here comes big one. It's Up.
This is a big one. This is a real big one. And this is one I'm sure you've heard of. Aliens is a 1986 science fiction action film written and directed by, wait for it, James Cameron, and is the sequel to Alien from 1979. Sigourney Weaver reprises her role as Ellen Ripley, who returns to the planet where she first encountered the alien species, this time accompanied by a squad of colonial marines. The film shifts from the tone of horror to action, focusing on military confrontation, survival, and motherhood. Aliens received widespread acclaim and won 2 Academy Awards.
All right, so I don't think this is the only time we're going to hear James Cameron mentioned tonight. James and I haven't seem to like women that just kick butt.
Yes, he does.
So, okay, so I have to be honest with something here. I didn't see Aliens until far later in my life. I think it was probably around, I don't know, 2010 or so when I first watched Aliens. I think I saw Aliens as a kid, or I saw Alien as a kid, and it really wasn't something that I enjoyed as a kid. So I just kind of shied away from the whole Alien movie series.
Mm-hmm.
But when I finally saw it back then, I love this movie. Now I love this movie, and watching it now, it's interesting to see if this movie didn't exist. Think of all the stuff we wouldn't have. We wouldn't have stuff like Doom. We wouldn't have stuff like Halo. This movie influenced so much.
Metroid
as well, too. Absolutely.
I mean, maybe Metroid might be more inspired by the first Alien game, but I'm sure future Metroid and the sequels definitely were influenced by this.
I'm sure it was both of them that inspired him.
When did the first Metroid game come out?
The first Metroid game was 1986, I believe.
And this movie came out in 1986. So
yeah, maybe it's the first one.
Yeah, it's the first one. Yeah.
I'm sure the direction of where it's gone has been also inspired by this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie is just legendary. And it's a definite watch. And even with Doom, I don't know if you know about Doom. Doom somebody made a Doom mod, which was Aliens Total Conversion, way back when Doom first came out. So they could already see the connection. And that got so big that the John Carmack and John Romero, I believe their names, actually played it and were commenting at how amazing that mod was and how well it fit into Doom. So, and of course it's got the legendary "Game Over, Man" line that everybody seems to know.
Game over, man.
Exactly. So, I mean, this is one of those that if you have not seen this movie yet, I don't know why you haven't. You have to have been born today to not have seen this movie. But if you haven't seen it, you gotta see it. I mean, the quality is still kind of cheesy, but it really still holds up today, I think.
I
Wha-
watched I watched this like less than 10 years ago. I watched the Alien movies like 1, 2, and 3 for pretty much the first time, I think.
Mhm.
So I'm still like, yeah, relatively new to the Alien franchise, and yeah, I thought this. Watching it again, I did thought this was just a great movie. I could see why it's an Academy Award winner. Unfortunately for you, it had Sigourney Weaver in it.
Yeah, but I don't mind her in this because she's not trying to stick her butt out and walk in a bra like she normally. Oh, maybe she did do that. I don't know. Oh, yeah, I think she does probably at the beginning. Does she?
I don't remember. I just remember that she's the whole time just like that. They show her like they have that little girl that they find, and she helps like she. That's where the motherhood part of the description comes
Yeah.
in. And the military people, they're all like, he doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. We're the Marines, we're the best around. And she's like, no, you guys don't understand what the hell you're like. Oh, whatever, shut up, bitch. They didn't get that rude to her, but they were like, kind of like, we're kind of have enough of you telling us that we have to be ready. We are always ready. And then to find out, yeah, this woman knew she was talking about the entire time.
Mhm. Yeah. So I don't think I mentioned this, and then I'll let you continue. Is I'm definitely giving this a thumbs up, thumbs way up.
Oh, same here. This is a classic. This is definitely one of the movies that is definitely worth watching. I believe it was done by Fox, which means that Ripley or the alien mother the mother of the aliens is a Disney princess, I believe.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. The alien queen.
The alien queen. She's a Disney queen. They're gonna redo Aliens, but it's gonna be a Disney musical. It's gonna be animated. Wouldn't that be? You know what? I actually don't want to see that now, but like purely for comedy purposes.
Yeah. Please watch your legs. You'll trip over my eggs.
The aliens are singing. Yes, you're only having those thing too. Yes, Disney's
So,
make it. You own the rights. Do it.
by the way, I just want to jump in and mention something. Is that I do own the Aliens versus Predator board game and all the expansions, almost all the expansions for it. Well, I guess it's not really an expansion. But I do own almost everything for it, including like they actually came out with an Alien King miniature, which is actually a pretty good size miniature. The one thing I don't own, I kind of regret not getting it, was you could get the miniature drop ship because the game uses just a tile for that drop ship, but you could buy the actual miniature drop ship itself. But I think when it came out, it was like $175.
Ooh.
So I'm like, it's not going to change any gameplay, so I'll pass. But now I kind of look back and say, that would have been kind of cool to get because I mean I've got like that card that they have. I have the miniature for that, and I have basically all the miniature set for it.
I was just thought about this. I have all the people I know who should own a 3D printer. You should be like the person who does not own one, at least have access to one because you have all these pieces for your games. And if you had a 3D printer, you would never have to worry about ever losing those pieces again. I mean, you probably still want to keep the originals, like don't get me wrong, for collecting purposes,
Mhm.
but you could even print up a dummy set and play with those and hold on to the original set.
Yeah, I've actually got a buddy who does have a 3D printer that's in town.
Oh,
And he printed a whole bunch of stuff for his games.
yeah. Like if I had a game set that was really valuable that I enjoyed playing, I would make like a dummy set of parts and just never use the original for that. If I had to, if that was my thing, but it's not. So
Back to Aliens.
back to you, or yeah, Aliens. Definitely. Like I said, the thumbs up. This is a great movie. I did have a point. Oh yeah, you're talking about Aliens versus Predator. If you own an Atari Jaguar and you've never played Aliens versus Predator, well, you are just not playing the best game made for that system. That's an exclusive.
You talk about the Jaguar, yeah. Well, yeah. And then
What's that?
that's not saying much though.
Yeah, like you want to play a little Jag?
Aliens versus Predator, the PC game, was exceptional.
Was that a first-person shooter too?
That was first-person shooter as well too, where you could.
Okay, the Jaguar didn't have the exclusive on that. They had the console.
It's different. The Jaguar version is different.
Oh, it is different. Okay.
It is different, yes.
Okay. Well, that's all they have. That's all they have. Because like, oh, they have Cybermorph and like those games. They all suck. They all suck. There's better versions on Super Nintendo. Has a better version of that. It's called Star Fox. Go play Star Fox on the N64. You'll have a much better time. Unless you really need to have somebody go and say, "Where did you learn how to fly?" You'll have a much better time just playing Star Fox. All right, so that was Aliens. Is there more you want to say on this?
Go see this movie.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Alien and Aliens, you should really watch both of them. We never reviewed the first one. So if you're a super fan, cool, let us know your name. I'd like to know who our super fans are. And also, yes, we've never reviewed the first one, so don't rack your brain. You didn't miss it. We never got it.
Yeah. This just seemed like the one to throw into this topic.
Yes, this is all action based, where the first one's more of a horror base, which we can do. We could do Alien maybe in October.
Yeah.
If you want, we could do Femme Fatale again and do it where it's female in horror movies, which we kind of did already.
Yeah, we did.
Japanese, but
and Happy Death Day.
Happy Death Day. Yes, Happy Death Day. What day she didn't give a shit and just walk around naked. And we're just like,
the day Ben wishes he was there.
I know I didn't attend this college. All right.
All right, so next one. You ready for the next one?
Yep.
And it's up.
Columbiana is a 2011 action thriller film directed by Oliver Megaton. But I read through these in rehearsal. I did a rehearsal, by the way. And when I first read this, I said Oliver Megatron. But it's Oliver
again, man.
Megaton. Oliver Megaton. And written by Luke Besson and Robert Mark Kamen. The film stars Zoe this is a hard one. Saldana? The Saldana? Zoe Saldana. Okay. As Catalina Restrepo, a young woman who becomes a professional assassin after witnessing the murder of her parents while she was a child. Her carefully planned acts of vengeance serve as a message to the criminals responsible. The film centers on themes of vengeance, identity, and the long-term impact of childhood trauma. This actually was pretty good. It starts off where it's kind of just like they show her as a kid and then they show her as an adult. The only real question I have is I really wish they showed like a training montage of some kind, because she's really good at like everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be the only complaint I really have in this, is that her planning is impeccable. Like I've never seen such impeccable planning where you even know what your enemy is going to change their mind on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you just happen to have that ready to go. It shows it where she's trying to have a relationship and he doesn't really know her real name or who she is because she's a professional assassin. And she probably, like Go 13, where he needed to go and get his rocks off to do a kill. She probably needed to get off the high of doing an assignment. Because I'm sure there's a level of, to do the profession like that, there's got to be some level of excitement that gets you off on this.
I killed someone. Now let's make someone. We got to keep a balance.
Yeah, the cosmic balance must be kept. So yeah, she's a pretty one. Yeah, it was a good movie. A lot of excitement. And like I said, it's just this woman, like you, the only complaint I really have is that she was too good.
Mm-hmm.
The only time you saw weakness out of her is when her adopted parents were pissed off at her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then she just showed up at church and they told her don't show up at church. And she showed up at church anyways. And then they're like, we're glad you're at church. Everything's okay again. And then she's like, okay, I still got to go off and kill these people.
Yeah.
And then she's killing people to get to somebody else. So it's the whole thing of she's just, like this increasing amount, and then you have the cops are catching on to it because they're finally the cop at some point they keep thinking it's a guy.
Yeah.
And when they finally put it together that it's a woman, they're all like, I can't believe it's a woman. How can a woman go and do something like this? And I'm like, okay, this is the going to show. Oh, men are so awful and evil, and they can't believe a woman would do such. Like,
When you talk about the cop, I love the part where she's got like the sights. I believe it's the sights on the cop,
yep,
and she's like, and it's basically like you probably don't want to do anything because if you do, you're done.
yep,
So
yeah.
so I'm thinking. So go ahead. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Oh, this one gets a thumbs up. This was fun. I like this one.
So when I'm looking at this picture,
I haven't even looked at the picture yet. I'm looking at the script.
this picture sums up the movie
Subtitles.
absolutely so well. So I just want to say before I really just kind of talk a little bit about it, I actually worked with somebody that looked just like her. And I remember I was telling this girl, I'm like, hey, I don't know if you know this, but I was watching this movie and you look like this lady. And she goes, oh, you watched the movie with Zoe Saldana? I was like, well, I guess this isn't the first time you heard that. Because she looked dead up like her.
And I know the computer like pays attention to what you research and stuff. And I'm on the internet, and a story comes up that says that Zoe Saldana is the highest paid actress in Hollywood.
Wow.
Let me
That.
I can't even say her fucking name right. What do you mean she's the highest paid actress in Hollywood? I do remember that she's been in a few things, and I've seen her a couple times. I just never knew, like, and it's me. It's the laziness. It's me being a lazy critiquer of never taking the time to learn her name. So now I've taken the time to learn her name. Welcome to my radar, Zoe. You are now on it.
So when you look at things like, let's just say James Bond, or you look at things like where you mentioned Gogo 13, she's definitely in the line of those type of characters.
Yes.
She is darn good in action.
If somebody went and said that they're going to do a female version of James Bond and it's going to be played by Zoe Saldana, I'd be like, you know what? That is a good choice.
Yeah, absolutely. And even that girl at the beginning, I love the part at the beginning where the girl is sitting at the table and her parents are just getting killed. And they're like, oh, we're not going to kill her because she's just a little girl. And then she just totally just, boom, gone, done. You know what? I love that beginning.
Even in the beginning, this girl knew how to do a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's something you could do if they did a sequel. They could do a flashback and show her getting trained and how to handle weapons and how to fight. The thing is, it's been since 2011. There's probably no way that there's even ever going to be a sequel to this. If there is.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know if you did all that well. Yeah, that brings me to my next point, though. This is a great action movie, but in a way, I think it also becomes a forgettable action movie because it can easily be lumped into all of these revenge titles. It's a good time when you watch it, but then when you're done watching it, later it's like, oh yeah, I saw Columbiana. It was a lot of action. I don't know if there's anything in this movie that really truly stands out as being like an exceptional theme that you're going to remember 3 or 4 years down the line, other than a lot of shooting, a lot of death type of stuff.
I've said the movie, if you want to compare this to a Bond movie, you might want to compare it to like License to Kill. Get a License to Kill, the very beginning of the movie, they take away Bond's license to kill. So the whole movie, he's doing a mission off the books.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And so it's one of the darker Bond movies. It's actually one of the better ones. Timothy Dalton's amazing. He's James Bond dark. We should do Bond movies eventually, but
So that's a good point. I would say for somebody before watching something like Columbiana, watch License to Kill and then watch Gogo 13 and then watch Columbiana, because you're going to see it's going to merge like the two of them together pretty well.
Yep.
So and I'm going to say, I will give this a thumbs up. It's a light thumbs up in that it's a good movie when you're watching it. But I think once it's over, you'll probably won't you might not go back to it anytime soon. You'll probably, forget a lot about it. But you'll enjoy the ride when you're watching it.
Yeah, that was a fun one. So I give it a thumbs up. And same thing. It's like it's a fun ride. You wish they did more with the character. Like I said, I did like to see how her getting trained, and maybe it could be that the second movie could have been like she gets trained, she got trained by somebody, and that somebody now becomes the enemy.
Yeah.
And you never saw him in the first movie, but during the second movie, when she was a teenager, he was like her sensei, and then he supposedly died or something, and now he's the one who's behind whatever's going on wrong with her shit. Yeah, I'm writing a movie for you, damn it.
Still go see it.
Yeah,
Turn your brain off, just watch it and enjoy the action, and you won't be disappointed on that.
okie dokie.
All right, ready for the next one?
Yep.
And it is up.
Kill Bill Volume 1 is a 2003 action film written and directed by Quentin Tarantino. The film stars Uma Thurman as the bride, a former assassin who awakens from a coma and seeks revenge on the members of her former team who betrayed her. Drawing inspiration from martial arts cinema, samurai films, and exploitation genres, the film is structured around stylized violence, nonlinear storytelling, and homage-driven aesthetics. Kill Bill Volume 2 is a 2004 action film and directed a direct continuation of Kill Bill Volume 1. While retaining the revenge narrative, the sequel shifts focus towards character development, dialogue, and emotional resolution. The film delves deeper into the bride's relationship with Bill, portrayed by David Carradine, and emphasizes Western and dramatic influences over martial art, with a martial arts spectacular. Together, the two volumes form a single narrative split across 2 releases.
All right. I have been waiting for this.
Go ahead.
Okay, so first thing I want to say is you and I had we sent a couple messages back. You had an idea of doing something for an episode, and when you gave me that idea, this came to mind. You had asked what we should talk about, what movies, or what types of movies, whatever, we would not want to review, because one of mine is going to be pretty much darn near everything by Quentin Tarantino. I don't like Quentin Tarantino movies. I don't like, like From Dusk Till Dawn. I've seen Reservoir Dogs. I've seen Jackie Brown Passes. And I think Jackie Brown Passes because it's not fully Quentin Tarantino style, where at the end of the movie, it feels like everyone points their guns at everyone else and shoots everybody at the same time. So I think you mentioned Kill Bill, and I was like, oh no, not Kill Bill. So I'm going to give it the grade right now for both of them together, but I actually do need to break them up. I will give this actually a thumbs down, which after saying all what I did about Quentin Tarantino, that's probably not a surprise. Now let's break them apart. I saw Kill Bill Volume 1 when it was out in theaters and absolutely hated it. And to the point where I swore I would never watch Kill Bill Volume 2 because I had negative interest in it until this. So I did get through both of them, I want to point out. When watching Kill Bill Volume 1, I still stand by massive thumbs down the first one. I think the major problem with the first one is that the movie is like, I think, 2 hours long. There's about, I would say, an hour and 20 minutes you could easily cut out of this movie, because it just feels like it's there to be violence, or it just feels like it's there to try to form a backstory. Like the whole thing with the guy in the hospital where he's bringing the other dude to rape her in the bed. That all can be cut out really easy. And it could be just her waking up all of a sudden and then just trying to get out of the bed and getting out of there. I thought the fight with, I believe her name was Copperhead, the first one, was just, that's phenomenal. that was well put together, and the way that they incorporated the kid into it, and they had to play as if they were friends and so forth, that was well done. And then you get into everything with Lucy Liu, and that's where I think the problem is with Volume 1 with me. It's like, it feels like it's 75% of the movie, and it just drags and drags, and then he wants to make it this big epic fight at the end, and it's just too much of an epic fight because it just goes too long. And I'm actually not a fan of Lucy Liu. I might as well admit that too. So cut this down to about 40 minutes. It's going to be a lot better. Because of that's why I never wanted to watch Volume 2. I watched Volume 2, and I'm going to give Volume 2 a massive, massive thumbs up. I actually liked it a lot. I think it does a whole lot better in the characterization of the villains in this one, like Daryl Hannah, and I can't think of the dude's name, the cowboy dude. And even the guy that have playing Bill, it really fleshes out his character a whole lot better than was even done in the first volume. First volume barely even cracked his character. But this one, when you bring him in, he's like one of those villains that you just can't hate. Even though you know he's done some really bad stuff, he's just kind of like a down-to-earth guy in a way, while still being the sadistic guy. And I don't know who the actor was, but he did a great job as Bill.
The man from the Legend of Kung Fu, David Carradine.
Okay. Now, that whole Kung Fu bit where she was training, I thought that was a little over the top in the second one. But I can let that slide. I think Daryl Hannah as like an action star villain did an amazing job in this. I mean, when I think of Daryl Hannah, I think of Splash. I don't think of Kill Bill. So I would say if the first one was streamlined and attached to the second one, I would probably give the whole thing the thumbs up. But as it stands, because of the first one, I have to thumbs down it. Okay. But also, if you get to the first one, definitely watch the second one. It's worth it.
I watched the first one when it was, I think it was on DVD when I watched it, because it was like one of the things like, dude, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it, dude. It's so cool. It's big action scenes. And I'm like, I don't know. At the time, I didn't really like Pulp Fiction because it was like the story didn't go in order, and it threw me off to Quentin Tarantino stuff. And I'm like, is it like Pulp Fiction where the thing's out of order? And it's like, it kind of is, but you're not going to care. I'm like, okay. So I watched it. And what won me was the big fight with the big black and white fight with the crazy 88. After seeing that, I'm like, this movie is cool. I like this movie because I like the action scenes. And it's, so to me, this was a big thumbs up. And I'm like, I can't wait for Volume 2 to come out. And Volume 2 came out a couple months later, and I watched it in the theaters, and I was like, I don't think this is as good. Now fast forward to this year, and I'm rewatching these films, and I still like Volume 1. I've seen Volume 1, the Japanese version, since, in the Japanese version, slightly longer, and the fight scenes completely in color. And I just really liked Volume 1, and I really liked Volume 2. I really like it now because it does have a good amount of character development, and actually a lot of my favorite lines from the movie actually come from Part 2, not Part 1. Also, this whole thing of her name is annoying as hell. They don't say what her name is until the end, until the second movie. And it's like, well, here's what her name is. What power does that name have over anything other than like you're leaving in a mystery? So do I have to go watch the second movie to find out who the hell this chick is?
Mm-hmm.
If that's the only reason I'm going to the second movie, that's messed up. That ain't gonna work. I'm not gonna pay to go. If there was no other reason for me to go watch the second movie, it would not be because I want to find out what her name is. So just let the damn cat out of the bag already. But I think in this one, they do. You're talking about if they had them edited together, which they did do, and that's the whole bloody affair. And I don't know when that's going to be out for release again. They came out in the theater for a couple months, and I missed it, and it's not out anywhere right now. I'd like to see how they do that, how they combine the two of them together. You didn't like Lucy Liu, neither did Quentin Tarantino. He said that she was such a pain in the ass to work with. There's a reason why she's not really shown in volume 2. She was supposed to, her whole fight scene was supposed to be in volume 2.
Uh-huh.
But then she would have gotten paid more for both movies because she would have had a speaking role in both parts.
Uh-huh.
Because he didn't want her to have that much of, I guess he didn't want her to have a speaking role in part 2 or one of them. And the only way to do it was to edit it so that she's in part 1. So all her stuff is, all her speaking stuff is in part 1. And in part 2, she's only shown for a second, but she doesn't talk. So she doesn't get paid as much. And he did that as kind of an FU to her because I guess he was the director. So he had to deal with her. And she was probably a pain in the ass to deal with. Uma Thurman, on the other hand, this is like the second or third time he's used her in a movie. He likes her. She's obviously she's easy to work with for him. Yeah, I do want to see the two movies put together. I even as an editor thought, how would I edit these two? But the whole bloody affair has extra scenes that have never been seen before that help to meld the two movies together. Because
So it's longer. They didn't take my advice. It's longer.
Oh, it's going to be even longer. So you take the two movies that are already together, they're 4 hours. So it is going to be over 4 hours because it includes even extra scenes. But those extra scenes are needed to meld everything together and have it fit because the feel of the first movie and the feel of the second movie, they have different cinematic feels to begin with. So if you were to edit them together, unless you're planning to also go through and rescore the whole damn thing, it's not going to sound right. Also, I think in the one with I think the whole bloody affair, I think they also might go in chronological order, which doesn't, the movies don't follow a chronological order really.
Yeah.
They do, but they don't. It's one of those things where like she's on the journey, and while she's on the journey, you see flashbacks of what happened, of something that maybe reminds her of something that happened or whatever, and you see a flashback that gave her the knowledge that she needs to have right now for this particular thing.
So yeah, you're basically talking about they're going to do the shooting first, or actually no, you do the training first, then you do the shooting, and then you do her in the hospital, and then you do Copperhead, and then you do
Yes. Yeah, exactly. You do that would be if they put it in chronological order, which I don't know if they will, but they might put it more in the chronological order because parts of it do work for storytelling. In part 2, she's buried underground and she needs to punch her way out of the casket. She remembers being trained in how to do that punch. And that leads into the whole flashback of her getting dropped off. And the guy in Mr. Kung Fu guy, who's in every Kung Fu movie ever made, trains her after he treats her like a dog. But she takes it. And that's what you find out later in the movie because he taught her how to do his special move that nobody else was taught, only her.
Yeah.
Which means that she not only was a competent student, she became his favorite student.
Yeah.
Which she doesn't like women. That's announced in the beginning of that whole section by Bill that he hates women, and all of a sudden she is the only one of the students to ever get taught the special 5 steps of death or whatever it's called. And he's like that told, and also the fact that she got so pissed off when what's her name? The copper was it Hannah's character? What was her name?
Which was Hannah?
What's that?
Hannah. Which one was Hannah?
Daryl Hannah.
Oh, Daryl Hannah. What was her name?
Well, whatever. Daryl Hannah's character is bragging about how she went back to the place and she, for the revenge for taking her eyes, she went and she killed the guy.
Yeah.
And how upset Beatrice got over that. And then the fact that Beatrice is the only one who got taught that special move, that tells me that what they didn't show in that flashback was after she won him over, he must have started looking at her like a daughter.
It was L Driver was her name.
L Driver. Okay.
Yeah, I forget what was the chapter title.
I don't remember. They're all named after their code names, though. It was like they're all named
after. I remember what her code name was. I thought it had like win something or something like that.
All I remember is that the kiddo's Black Mamba, and she was named that because she was she was the top killer out of all of them, and that's why Bill got upset because his top prodigy ran away and tried to have a normal life with a record store employee. Record store owner.
Snake
He owns the record store.
is California mountain snake,
California mountain snake. Okay.
which makes sense because of the fact that she put the snake in the money.
Yeah. Yep. But those are some of the stuff that I picked up from it. This is one of those things where like you talk about these movies with their expanded universes. There can easily be a Kill Bill expanded universe.
Yeah.
Where it's like when they were together, some of the missions that they pulled off, some of the assassinations that they did, and then like maybe she after the second movie, maybe she trains her daughter on how to be an assassin as well. All these other also when she kills in the first movie, she kills the first lady. What was her name? The first one she killed?
Copperhead.
Copperhead. She kills Copperhead, and then she tells the daughter one day, you're gonna want to come and avenge his death. I'll be waiting for you. Well, there you go. There's Kill Bill Volume 3.
Yeah.
This time it'll be called Kill Beatrice.
Kill Bride.
Kill Bride. All right.
So one other thing I love
For both parts, I give a big thumbs up. I recommend Kill Bill to anybody who is in action films. If you're into action films, if you like kung fu movies, this is worth a watch. What's that, Mike?
Kung Funk, dude. That actually sounds like a very good genre.
Kung Fu, baby.
I do want to add one more thing on this is that I wasn't, because obviously it's Kill Bill, so obviously you know that Bill dies eventually.
Yep.
I didn't like the way that they basically killed him off. I get it because it's something that he was trained to do, but I thought it was just kind of a weak way to kill him off.
Not really, because he thought he was that guy's top student ever.
Okay.
But that guy would never teach him the one move. But he taught it to her.
I'll give it that then.
Then that just shows like this entire time I thought I was the top guy, and the whole time it was you. You're the top one.
Okay. I'll give you that.
And that's a lesson for him to learn at the end. Is like, this is why I died. I thought I was the best. Wasn't.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You got that one.
All right.
So now we're going to the last one.
The last movie.
And it's up now.
Alita Battle Angel is a 2019 science fiction action film directed by Robert Rodriguez and produced by, here it is, James Cameron. The film is based on the manga series Gun by Yokota Kishiro. Set in a post-apocalyptic future, the story follows Alita, a cyborg with no memory of her past who discovers her extraordinary combat abilities while navigating life in a dystopian city of Iron City. The film combines motion capture performances with a large-scale action and explores identity, free will, and self-discovery. Is this me?
That's you.
I enjoyed this movie. I think, and a big part of it was the actress, maybe who they picked to play Alita. I don't know. I love this character. I'm like, when I talked about Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, I went on and on about how you have these avatar characters who help you out in your battles, and one of them is this character Tulin. Tulin became like my favorite character. I get the same feeling from Alita. Alita's like, you hang out with her, she's like your little sister, but she's like the coolest. Like, hey, let's go kill a bunch of those guys over there. All right, Alita, let's go. Good job, kid. Thanks. I love killing people with you. She's just a lovely character. Story-wise, I'm not 100% sure exactly what was going on. There was something like a group of guys who were going around. Like everybody has mechanical parts, I guess, and some people get their parts stolen from them, and some people are cyborgs, but they're not. That was my only complaint. I really wasn't sure what the story was. I just really liked her as a character.
Yeah.
So, Mike, what are your thoughts on this? And maybe I'll chime back in.
Okay. So, And I'm glad you actually ended with that, because I went in hard to this one, because as you saw, I'm actually pretty big fan of the Battle Angel series, of the manga. And I'm actually finally picking up the third part of the series, which I kind of lagged on doing because I didn't think I'd get back to it. But this, knowing that we're going to do this movie, kind of inspired me to go back and read those again and see how the two of them work together. And this movie, there's parts of it that it takes from the manga. There's parts of it takes from the little short anime that came out. Then there's parts of it that it makes up on its own. So for instance, with Ito in the manga, he does not remove the dot on his head or whatever it is on his head, like they talk about in the movie. That was made for the movie. In the manga, he doesn't have the wife. In the anime, he has a wife, but he doesn't have the kid. In the movie, he has the kid as well too. So it's like building on these things that just get kind of added, or they get kind of subtracted out to make this, I think, a little bit more modernized for our country. Where you said that she's the kind of person that you would want to like hang out with. It's funny because she's actually that way pretty much in the start of the manga. She's very much somebody who's like, hey, yeah, woohoo, kind of thing. Um, the whole ship and finding the body, that's all part of now the movie as well too, to give more of a backstory that's not really covered in the first part of the series in the books. But what this does do is this takes like volume 1, volume 2, and volume 3 of the first series.
Oh shit! Sorry.
You okay?
Yeah. So I didn't expect a sound. I was looking through something and I didn't expect sound. Sorry.
Okay. So this takes volume 1, volume 2, and volume 3 and like mashes it together into like one volume. So everything with Vector and Hugo comes after the whole thing with I think it's Gruishka is resolved. Then everything with Motorball comes after everything with Hugo and Victor is resolved in the books. They're not all happening at the same time. So Gruishka's not Vector's bodyguard. In fact, in the manga, Vector's not as big as he is at that time, as they put him in this movie. But I gotta say one thing on Vector. This movie does have the best death line I've ever heard, probably. And that was well, that looks fatal. I absolutely love that. And on that note, Nova doesn't come until after Motorball, so I might as well just throw that out too. That was another thing that was slammed into this one. Now, here's the thing with this movie. This movie definitely WB'd it. And saying that probably dates me, but I feel like watching this movie, I would expect to hear something like, tonight we're having a Saved by the Bell marathon starting at 7 o'clock. Then at 9 o'clock it's Dawson's Creek. And finally at 10 it's movie night with Alita here on the WB.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like it has that feel like it's a WBCW type of like kid drama type of thing going on there. Especially what she has that boy who likes her and she likes him, but he works for the people who are stealing the parts. And
Here's the thing, that part is kind of sort of in the story. She likes him in the story. He's not really attracted to her, I guess, in the story, but she does definitely like him. The problem is the environment. Everyone is so happy there in the scrapyard. You don't have people that happy in the manga. You don't have somebody playing the guitar with a mechanical arm, like mechanical 3 arms, looking still like he's happy and enjoying his life in this. That doesn't exist. They changed that so it can direct it more, I believe, towards teens.
Mm.
So, but what I understand is this was now Robert Rodriguez's most grossing movie, which actually surprised me because I believe he did Desperado as well too. So this beat, and I think he did Machete, which so this movie beat those ones out. And before doing this talk, I stumbled on something, which was he and James Cameron have agreed that they're definitely going to do a second part and maybe a third part. So someday, somehow, there's evidently going to be a sequel to this. It hasn't been ruled out yet, but it's been like 6 years or something like that since this movie. But even though it's different, and even though it's WB'd like crazy, I still think it's a pretty good movie. I do agree. Like I do like the girl that does the role as Alita in this. I think she does a great job, and she kind of, when I see her, she reminds me of Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah,
So,
I thought she did a good job too. I think that, and then like they animate like to make her eyes like insanely gigantic.
yeah,
It just makes her sweeter and so lovable. And then you see her like killing a whole bunch of people, and it's like, you know what this made me think of? We should have done this movie with Kick-Ass, because Alita to me was like, this is what's her. Oh no, that was Columbiana. I was thinking about that, but this too kind of fits it in a way. Columbiana really fits. Oh shit! I wait. I know. I'm not gonna remember to put this in. Am I? Columbiana. Going back to that for a second. Hit Girl, grown up.
mm-hmm.
That was what Columbiana said me. I should have thought of that sooner. But like, yeah, Lolita though is like, she's just a sweetheart. It's just like this. It's like, oh, you know, in a way, almost like how with Hit Girl when she like with her dad. It's like, okay, we're done killing those people. You want to get some ice cream, honey?
Mm-hmm. What's funny is we mentioned that the in the manga she doesn't have the orange scene where she's eating oranges. However, there is a point in, I think it's the second series in Last Order, where she's eating chocolate. So I believe that's probably where they got the idea to include that chocolate scene in it and make that her favorite food.
Mm.
So, but overall, I would still give this a thumbs up. I think it's a good movie. It's a long one, but I still think it's good. It flows together really well.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a lot of these movies that are like Japanese based. Sometimes I'm like, they're a little too. I feel like I'm getting a little too old for something like that. It's like I gotta wrap my head around a whole other universe again.
Yeah.
So that was Alita. We both gave it a thumbs up, I believe. And what's going on next week? What are we doing next week?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't even have the calendar up for next week. I wasn't even prepared. Oh, yes, that's the last Sunday of the month. So what we're doing is we are talking about when is a game not, or when is a series not the series again. So this is going to be when games have gone through so much changes, they're not even recognizable from where they started.
Oh, I wonder what series we're going to include in that.
I wonder what 2 series we're going to include in that.
Yeah, we might need our umbrella.
Yeah, exactly. Because this might be the absolute final show that we have.
Yeah, and that would be some people's fantasy, but probably not.
Yeah.
I'm afraid we're going to be a resident, an evil nonetheless, but a resident here for a while.
Exactly. Yeah. So look forward to our 2. I guess it's pretty much our 2 flagship game series when we talk about anything.
Every time there's something wrong in gaming, Resident Evil's always
Well, Resident Evil and then Final Fantasy right behind it.
Yeah, it's always those 2 series are always like the. Yeah. This week we're going to be talking about series that were great and then went downhill. Resident Evil. This is not a game show. Why are you ringing in?
Today we're going to talk about game series that only had one good game and then they didn't even have any sequels. Well, Resident Evil and Final Fantasy, because they're not maybe directly, I don't know. Well, we work them in somehow.
It's them, and then like also like I'll work in Assassin's Creed, which you didn't play, but that's like another one I always bring in.
Yeah, true.
All right, folks. Well, that's it. I hear the music playing. You hear the music playing?
I do hear the music playing. I hear it saying the GM show.
Yeah, it's the GM show. Or there was something. Did we talk about that on the air? Or Mike?
Yeah, we did. That was at the very beginning.
Okay. And you know what? I think that we're gonna go home on this. I want to hit this exactly an hour and a half. So, Mike, do you have a final word?
I do. Are you ready for it?
Yep.
Columbiana.